draft. It's the SNL draft.
Yes, so welcome on in, everybody, to the Saturday Night Network for our final preseason show of Saturday Night Live Season 50. My name is Jon Schneider from the SNN. So excited to be back with you here as a presentation of LateNighter.com. And with a huge panel here tonight, we got the drafters back. The whole squad from Season 49 has returned to draft the cast members from Season 50. 3 are out. 3 new cast members are in. We're going to be drafting all of them tonight, talking about them and previewing everything we will see in just a few days' time as we premiere the Season 50 with host Gene Smart and musical guest Jelly Roll just a few days from now. So let's bring in the competitors for this crazy draft we're about to embark on. And first up is my man, Bill Kenney. Bill, great to speak to you again. It's been too long.
John, I missed you on Monday. I had serious withdrawal from not being able to talk about anything with you on Mondays as we did all summer. I'm so excited to be here. We got the trailer today for the first episode of Season 50, and it's just really amping up. So ready to go.
Yes, so pumped. Honestly, just gave me all the feels to see that trailer that they put out with Gene Smart, the first promo of the season. Yeah, very exciting. It's becoming real. It's finally happening. And joining us as well tonight is the great Andrew Haskell. Haskell, how are you?
Doing good. I'm going through my training camp right now, off paternity leave. Got to join you guys last week. Here I am. Doing another one of these drafts where you guys just try to hold me down, but I keep showing up anyway. Let's see how they try to rig it against me this time, but still excited to be here.
Oh, great. You just wait. I have something for you. So we're going to go through all the introductions, and then I have something good for you, Haskell. Okay, joining us as well. I haven't heard from her in a while, and so glad to have her back on the show, and it is the great Zoe Walker. Zoe, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to be back. It doesn't feel like fall until I'm talking about
Yes, that's true. Yeah, it's the season. Zoe, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
yes,
awesome.
it's time.
Yeah, exactly. So awesome to have you on the show tonight. And joining us on the bottom row, first up is Amanda Mitchell. Amanda, how are you?
Hi, I'm thrilled. I'm excited. A draft. I can't wait to not do well yet again. Whee!
Yeah, you never know. You never know. This might be your year, Amanda. We'll see. We shall see.
I've done, in the past year, I've done 2 more drafts than I ever have in my entire life. And this is number 3. So yeah, I'm doing pretty great in general in the draft front. The experience.
You got to get those reps in. That's how you do well at these things. So you got to you keep trying. One day it'll be you who wins this thing. And could it be this guy's year? TJ Randolph is here. TJ, how are you?
First of all, John, if I'm not winning here at the SNL Network, I'm winning everywhere else in life. Are none of us going to talk about the new draft music? Am I going to be the only? We got through 5 people. How awesome was that? That was great.
Thank you.
That was delightful. Like, John, who did that?
Me, in a way. So,
wait. Oh, really? Okay, John. Okay. Little Mr. Music Man. Okay.
Musical genius.
I'm happy. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm in a very good mood because you didn't tell us there was new music and that you got draft specific music. That's so cool. So I'm glad to be here.
Hey, it's a new season. We got lots of surprises on the horizon, but I'm not surprised to see this guy here, the winner of the previous draft, the host of 2 amazing pop culture vibe in the SNL Hall of Fame, and that is Thomas Sena. Thomas, how are you?
Hello, John. Hello, everybody. I was playing air guitar during that intro, TJ. I was feeling it so much. So props to you, John. I am broadcasting on location from a hotel that shall not be named because they didn't pay me for an endorsement. And I feel drunk with power and ready to go.
I love it. That's the way to do it. So happy to have you back, Thomas. And last but not least is the legendary Sammy Kay. Sammy, how are you?
John, I'm doing fantastic. Unfortunately, this is one draft where I cannot draft Robert Downey Jr. for the 80th time. But I'm excited to be here. It was my birthday on Monday, and my birthday always signals that new SNL is on the horizon. So very excited to draft some cast members here tonight.
Well, happy birthday, Sammy. Happy to have you back. So let's dive right in. So this is so much fun. We do a bunch of drafts throughout the season. This is my favorite one to do because it's super easy to track and play at home. And I've heard, last year, the year before, from a lot of our listeners that they really enjoyed getting to do this with their family and friends. So here are the rules. They're very simple. This is an appearance draft. So if you see a cast member on screen on any Saturday Night Live episode this season that airs at 11:30, that's 1 point if you have them on your team. We're each going to draft 2 cast members. So we'll go snake round, basically all the way down and all the way back. Jost and Shay will be drafted as a duo. So that's how we get to our 17 that will be drafted tonight. And appearances are basically, you see them on screen, you hear them in a voiceover, and if you're confused of like, oh wait, was that Heidi Gardner who did the voiceover, we can always clarify those things. We do them on our By the Numbers show. We'll give you draft updates so you can follow along at home. If you introduce a musical guest, so let's say someone's doing double duty and then Keaton Thompson says ladies and gentlemen, that is another segment appearance that we count out there. But we are only counting segment appearances for the canonical 11:30 shows. So SNL 50 in February does not count. If SNL promotes a sketch that appears online, that does not count. I just want to be clear for everybody. There's no mistakes. Just the ones we have there. And then trying to think if there's anything else. I think, so basically a segment appearance is defined as having a role in a sketch, pre-tape, or a weekend update segment. So pretty straightforward over here. Very excited to do this again. And as Thomas mentioned, he has all of the power. So as the winner of the last draft, he's going to pick the draft order tonight. So he's going to tell us. I'm going to throw something out there. I sent you all an email with some rules. I'm wondering if we should add a little stakes to this draft, because it's very exciting to win the draft and then you get the power next year to choose the draft order. But every year, somebody loses the draft. So, I'm thinking, should there be some sort of punishment if you lose the draft? And I'll bring up the draft results from the previous season. So we do have Thomas there, who won with Ego and Dismukes at 144 points. In this case, TJ would have lost last year, but we didn't have any punishments in place with Sarah and Michael Longfellow. So those are the draft standings from season 49. But I'm thinking this season, if you finish in 8th place, you have a 1-year ban from being able to draft. You are not allowed on the podcast in season 51. So
why? Why would you propose this?
That
This is a terrible idea.
mean.
Well, I just think there should be like a level of like really trying hard tonight.
That hurts you. Like, this is a terrible idea.
It's okay. I'm not going to finish last, so I'm okay with that.
But you can buy yourself back in by doing a 24-hour Robert Downey Jr. sketch watch.
Okay.
You have to watch them on
Is there an
loop,
Amazon
there's not
clip?
enough.
I don't know if there's enough
Is there an
clips of Robert
Amazon
Downey Jr.
clip?
SNL.
It's gonna repeat. Oh, it will repeat.
It's
I'll
not
watch
You
it.
have
I'll do that. I'll just do that in general. Have you
That should just
seen-
be the punishment.
You have to dress as Gilly for a year.
I was going to say, a good punishment would be dressing as your least favorite character in SNL history for maybe like a month of podcasts. Like,
Yeah.
pick the worst character
Okay,
you
we
could
can-
possibly think of.
Yeah, we
I
can
like
do that.
that.
You can earn your way back
Proposals,
on by
God.
dress. Yeah, this is fair. You can earn your way back on if you want to dress as. The winner will pick a character for you to dress as on a podcast, maybe for a month.
I love
You could
it.
earn your way back. So that could
Should
be a
we
fun
give
way
that
to
to
do.
the audience? There should be like an easy.
Yeah, or maybe the
easy-
audience. Yeah, we can
Yeah.
decide. We can
You know?
decide. Let us know in the
Yeah.
comments what you think should happen here. But for now, the loser of the draft at the end of the season will be banned from the draft podcast. It doesn't mean that we're going to be banned from all podcasts, just the draft podcast. For now.
No, it's
So
all
that's-
podcasts.
that's it.
Every podcast ever.
Let's up the
I
I
ante.
is
can't
just
even
All
listen to
podcasts.
them.
Literal public
Yeah.
firing.
They can't listen to any of. Yeah, John's just like, I'm just trying to fire one of you without
Jesus.
telling. Yeah.
You're replaced by
Oh,
Amanda's dog for an
Can we
entire
have a
year.
moment of silence before we toast? Like, I feel like this
All
is
right,
insensitive.
already chaos here. Let's get this thing going. So, Thomas, now that you know the stakes involved, what is the draft order that we're going to be picking from tonight?
All right, you guys. So I was going to come in here. I was going to do a little bit. I know Haskell's thinking that I have it out for him in some way. And I was going to give him the number 1 pick and be like, oh, I'm doing Haskell a favor and do a whole song and dance. I'm not going to do that. I'm making it democratic. So what I'm doing for just the first pick is I have 8 individual sized pieces of paper, same size, same weight, that have names on them. and I'm going to put all 8 in an ice bucket, in a hotel ice bucket. So we were going to decide the number 1 pick democratically in this
There should
way.
be like an ice bucket challenge.
This is
is
the
this
ice bucket
crafty?
challenge.
I love
this-
seeing
yeah.
this.
So I put
This
the
is
names in
crafty.
here. I'm
You
shaking
just
it
roll
up.
a D8. Like,
Did you
put
go
my
to the
D8
hotel just so you could have an ice bucket?
I did.
Really? I hope so.
Committed to this. So I
Mhm.
have a name here. I don't know
The
what the name
non-disclosed
is.
hotel.
I'm just gonna say beforehand, I don't believe that these are the same weight pieces of paper. I'm calling
TJ, how dare you? First of
He
all,
weighed them each
How-
individually.
how
He
dare
got
you?
out
Brings out a little
a
tiny
scale.
I brought my
scale.
kitchen scale from home and weighed them.
Brings out a
So
kitchen
the
scale.
name I have
We
pulled.
we trust Thomas's weights and measurements that he is doing. on this
Okay,
one.
interesting.
Bill was like a referee.
Interesting. I don't know if you could see this. Probably not, but it is
It says
it says
Haskell?
Haskell on it.
There's no
they all say Haskell?
way.
No.
They all
This
say
is all
Haskell.
Haskell. I don't believe
All
this.
say Haskell.
Gets the
Oh,
first
They
pick.
I
all
want to
say
see the
Haskell,
bucket in the
don't
frame. I
Stop
wanna
the
see-
count.
Why is
Stop
everybody
the
yelling at
count.
me? I did it democratically. Haskell has the number 1 pick.
This is the
It's a very fair election.
Jury.
It
This
was-
election
The
is from
universe has
stolen.
decided.
I want to see
They're already
every
saying I'm
piece
the
of
best
paper.
number 1 pick ever.
Wear your hands.
Okay.
I want to see your hands.
The
Okay,
universe
all right, all
has
right.
decided. So we have our first pick, Haskell.
Thomas, who are the other picks?
Okay. Pick number 2, I'm going to give to Sammy Kay.
God damn it. 3rd year in a row.
I didn't know that. Pick number 3, we have John. All right. Pick number 4, we're going to go Zoe. Pick 5, myself. I think that's what I got last year. I don't know. Pick 6, TJ. Pick 7, we're going to go with Amanda. And Bill Kenney has the 8th pick in this draft.
Okay, so we have the order here. We got Haskell, Sammy, myself, Zoe, Thomas, TJ, Amanda, and Bill. And then it's going to reverse in the second round. So thank you, Thomas. So now everyone is on an even playing field. Haskell, you have the pick of the entire board. You can take any of the cast members to be a part of your team. And if you nail this pick perfectly, regardless of you having the last pick in this draft, you will win this draft. So who will you choose?
I'm not prepared at all. I was expecting to go 10th. Let's start off right. When you're drafting in fantasy football, not in fantasy football, but if you're drafting a football team, where do you start with? You start with the quarterback of the team. I'm thinking of the current best quarterback in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes. And let's go with our resident Chiefs super fan, the current quarterback of SNL, the quarterback of SNL 50, Heidi Gardner.
All right. Heidi Gardner goes first overall to Haskell here. So Heidi, for the first time in her career, had the most segment appearances last season. She finished with 88. That was better than anybody else. So congratulations to Heidi. A big improvement over previous seasons. Her previous high was 78, so 10 more than her previous high that she got in season 48 and 44. Her career has been 77, 78, then down to 69 and 45, obviously a shortened season, 67 and 46 with the COVID restrictions, 66 in season 47. So a bit of a lull there, jumps up to 78 in 48, and now 10 more in season 49, truly takes lead of the cast, and Haskell gets her as the first overall pick here. Bill, how do you feel like Haskell did with this choice? Was it the right one at pick number 1?
It's the only choice. Perfect choice. She is going to have an incredible season. She is going to prove my prediction and move up that list towards her Mount Rushmore of SNL cast members. She had such a phenomenal back-to-back seasons in 48 and 49. So I think it's the only way to go for a number 1 pick in this draft. Well done.
Okay. Heidi Gardner off the board, the first pick of the season 50 cast draft. Sammy, you can pick anybody else besides Heidi as your first pick. Where are you going to go?
Oh boy. Yeah, like I said, this is the same position. I've been 3 drafts in a row. The second pick it's tricky. And the last 2 years I've gone the same way each time. I've picked Keaton Thompson in this slot. I am not going to do that this year because frankly, I just want to switch up my team a little bit. And, I want to have fun. Don't want to rerun the same playbook. I think I'm going to go. This may look to be something to be on the riskier side, but I see a lot of potential in this person, especially with an election coming up. I know there's been some conversation of, maybe something changing, but I really feel like this is the year where this person becomes the utility backbone of SNL. So I'm going with James Austin Johnson here for my second pick, or for my first pick.
Wow. Okay. This is a little surprising to me. I mean, I think that any given week, I said this on the preview show a couple days ago, any given week, James Austin Johnson could completely dominate the show. We know we have guaranteed appearances in what is likely to be him playing Trump again this season. Will this be the year where he makes a huge jump forward? So last season, he finishes 5th overall, or tied for 4th overall, with 82 appearances in season 49. This was a huge step forward from season 48, where he went from 62 to 82. So that's like, it's massive. That's a 33% practically jump up. So clearly the trajectory is moving up here, where this guy could take over the show at any point. He goes from 51 to 62 to 82. And if he finishes and continues to move up even further, then Sammy will probably win the draft here. TJ, how do you feel like Sammy did with this pick?
I'm so glad that he's going like against the grain. I mean, granted, Jon has the ability just to kind of like go right back to normality, but I think it's very strategic. And I mean, he phrased it up best. Like, JJ is a fantastic utility player and has only grown in sketch appearances each season. Having an election year, you know that he has a lock for appearances for at least the first 5, 6, 7 shows. So like that's probably going to help him tremendously. It's really how is he going to? I feel like one of those like ESPN guys. It's really how he ends up in the latter half of the season, Jon. It's really going to determine what his whole time on the field is going to look like.
Some would call us the ESPN of SNL, so it makes sense, TJ, that you felt that way. But here we go. Round number 1. Haskell takes Heidi. Sammy takes JAJ. Only 15 more cast members left on the board. And we're headed over to me for pick number 3 here. So as much as I feel great about James, Sammy, I'm happy that you left me with somebody here that I feel like still has the potential to dominate this season. He's not the flashiest person, never really seen as the star of the show, but truly dominates, and he just puts up a solid stat line every night. So I'm going to go with Mikey Day here again. I feel like the show is going to continue to rely on him this season. I know that the Biden impression may not be used. He was supposed to be a big part, like basically on the marquee of season 50. But given his ability to write for himself, how much he has been involved in the show and definitely taken a step up over the last few years, I feel really, really good about Mikey's place here. So, he has put up a really strong start to his career: 89, 75, 82, 77, 69, 69, 60. It sort of goes down a little bit, but last year he has had 85 appearances, tied for 2nd overall. So even though it was a more understated season 49 compared to perhaps season 48, that was full of highlights, I still think that Mikey will be a huge part of this season. And I just want to go for someone that's going to give me consistency for this draft. So I'm feeling good about that pick. Amanda, how do you feel about my pick with with Mikey?
I'm very jealous. It's a great pick. I mean, yeah, like he's the little backbone and they love him over on that show. And it's going to be a really good season for him. And I think, it's going to be very interesting to see what he does now that we don't have Biden at the forefront anymore. But, we still have a few weeks left of Biden in the main stage. So we'll see what chaos happens. It's going to be good. And we'll see. I love it. That's a really good pick. I'm very jealous. Really good.
Well, yeah, thank you. He's still in the zeitgeist, so for sure we might have the impression come out at least one more time. And I think that the show actively is always looking for a place to put Mikey in it. So I'm feeling good about that pick. So Zoe Walker, we're going to head over to you for the 4th overall pick in this draft. Who's going to be drafted next?
Okay, guys, I want to win, so I'm going to pick Keaton. I'm going to borrow Sammy's a strategy. Keaton can carry a sketch on his back. Keenan's been there for as long as I can remember. I can't think of SNL without Keaton, and it's the 50th year, so things are going to get serious, and I want someone consistent, so I'm picking Keaton because the stakes of this draft got crazy high. So I'm picking Keaton. And
Yeah, you
he's
could
not
get
gonna
kicked
fail
off
me.
if you pick him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I look, this is a no-brainer pick for me. I think it was between Mikey or Keenan. Ultimately I do feel like Keenan like regressed a little bit last season overall, but in the end, like still put up the numbers. Like I feel like, I don't think that we're going to see episodes where anyone's going to feel like this is the Keaton Thompson show, but I think he's like that veteran plug and play presence that if he's around the show, they're going to have him in it. So for me, this is a very solid pick. Again, Keaton also tied for second in appearances in season 49 with 85. So Keaton and Mikey only behind Heidi. Previous to that, 81, 81, 79, 72. Did peak in season 44 with 108 appearances, also topped 100 back in season 39. So obviously he's been on the show for over 20 seasons. Interesting stat lines throughout. And, there is a chance here that Keaton in the 50th season of the show puts up on 100, just how important he is to the show. And the other thing to consider is that, like, is there a chance that for the finale of season 50, with this maybe being the swan song of Keaton Thompson, does he host the finale? And if he does, that's a ton of appearances for Zoe. So I think this was a good pick, Zoe. Thomas, how do you feel about Zoe's pick here?
Yeah, I think Zoe did a great job. Didn't overthink this one. Comparing it to James Austin Johnson and Mikey Day, the previous two, I think Keenan's interesting because his appearances don't necessarily hinge on who wins the election. So I think maybe in James's case, if Trump doesn't win the election, then maybe we can see some of his sketch opportunities fall. Mikey, I don't know who he's going to play, but Keenan's not like his appearances don't hinge on playing a politician. So I think you're going to get that consistency right there. I think that was a really no-brainer, great choice by Zoe.
Yes, and I do want to answer our friend in the chat, WizKid, who asks, is Kamala making a cameo? Yes or no, brother? I think we're going to find out. I mean, I wish I had a good answer for you, but I think that there's a decent chance. I mean, I remember when Hillary appeared on the show and everyone was really excited about that. Obama appeared on the show when he was, very, entering the race. Like these things do happen. So for me, I think that they'll be thrilled if they can get Kamala to appear on Saturday Night Live. If Kamala, for whatever reason, feels that they will hurt the campaign by taking a break and heading over to New York and jumping into SNL and having a late night, then I don't think she'll do it. But I think the show would love to have her. So there's a good chance we may see it in a few days. All right, let's head to the second half of the first round. Thomas, you put yourself in this spot in fifth. So did the person you wanted land to you here fifth?
Yeah, I think so. And I'm not going to go chalk compared to like how people finished last year or the year before. I'm very loyal to my squad. Last year, Ego Wodum helped me out. She was big reason why I won this thing. I think she's gonna have a lot of advocates on the writing staff. Carl Tart joined the writing staff. I think she works well with a lot of people. So I'm gonna be loyal. I'm gonna stick with Ego Wodum. I can see her making a big jump. Amazing on Update. Again, a lot of advocates and partners on the writing staff. So Ego Wodum, welcome back to Team Sena.
That's amazing. I mean, this is a good pick. For me, it makes sense. She won with you last year, put up 73 appearances. Ego and Dismukes was the team, so you're trying to run it back a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see who you combine with Ego on the back end. But yeah, she did have the most appearances in her career last season at 73. Previous to that, 69 and 48, 63 and 47, 69 also in 46, 53 and 51. And I think it's been many seasons where we have asked ourselves, will Ego take over the show? She is super talented, absolutely has it in her. But we don't have the consistency of like a week-to-week basis where we're like, oh, wow, this is Ego's season. Could it possibly be that in now her, I guess her sixth, seventh season on the show? Like it's been a few years now. So I'm excited to see what she will do this season. Sammy, how do you feel about Thomas's pick here with Ego?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what Carl Tart brings to the show and is able to, potentially do working with Ego. I think she's somebody who I still think like her potential on SNL has not been fully tapped. Like, I think she's a great cast member, but I would love to see the show use her even more than they have been. So yeah, I'm hoping this is the year where we can really see some of that on screen.
Yeah, it would be very exciting. I think we would all collectively be thrilled if Ego participated in the show more and they got her stuff on. Yeah, I mean, we mentioned Carl Tart. So if you're not so tapped into writers, one of the new writers who auditioned for the show, who was hired as a writer, they work together. They've been on Comedy Bang Bang many times together. So like the writing partnership is there. She had previously written a lot of sketches with Gary Richardson and Alex English, who are no longer at the show. So perhaps the change in writing style for Ego does continue to boost her up in these standings and hopefully helps Thomas do well in this draft. So TJ, it's up to you next. You have pick number 6 in the first round. Where are you going to
go? You know what? I'm glad, because I'm not happy that I lost the drafts last year, but I'll be honest with you, I think I kind of forgot who I picked last year too. But I was kind of
well, let me tell the listeners. So you picked Sarah Sherman and Michael Longfellow last year. You finished at 110 points, 34 appearances behind Thomas's winning team.
Oh wait, who was in front of me? How tight was it?
Everybody was in front of you. TJ.
This is true.
You got me. You got me.
Yes. Amanda came in 7th with Bowen and Joseph Shea.
Okay. All right. So it's funny you mentioned his name, because I'm going to take somebody whose star has just continued to rise, even if he's resisted it and not realized, even if he's been checked by Tina Fey to let him know, hey, your star is rising. Give me Bowen Yang, because I think we all had an anticipation that Chloe Fineman was going to be our next star after Pete, and I think there was some element there. But I'll be honest, I think it's Bowen Yang. Like this is not a shade at Chloe by any means, but I think Bowen is I think he's our star, and I'm very curious to see what he's going to do in season 50, because I feel like he's very reliable. I think he can play well with everyone, especially it feels like he's still able to kind of come up with new ideas. And yeah, also he's just funny. So give me Bowen. I also feel like he's a safer pick, because I feel like he lately has been very consistent. He gives me like an Ego or like an Andrew kind of vibe.
Yeah, I like the pick here with Bowen. I mean, he's had a pretty big summer. Obviously, he's going to be in Wicked coming out, so the promotion and getting him out on screen, that could be something that I think will be great for him. He appeared at the Emmy, so he was there with Maya and Kristen and Seth up there. So
and it was huge.
Yeah, clearly pushed as a star of the show. He had an appearance on Fly on the Wall today as well, talking about, him going into season 50. So I think all the makings are there of Bowen being the star of the show. I just know for many seasons, we've said to ourselves, okay, is it Bowen's time to take over the show? Like previous cast members who have been pushed as the star before. And, as far as appearances are concerned, he finished with 71 appearances last year. So behind Ego, JJ, Chloe, Mikey, Keenan, and Heidi. And, only up one appearance from season 48. So went from 70, 71. Previous to that, 55, 39, and 47, all the way back to season 45. So he still hasn't made, he's made an impact on screen. Clearly, his pieces make an impact in, singularity, but in totality, I wonder if we're going to finally get like a Bowen Yang consistently taking over the show this season. Haskell, I'd love to know from you, how do you feel about this pick here?
Same old conversation every year. Bowen Yang's getting the Emmy nods and getting all the spotlight. He had his best season ever last year, and it's at a 71. Like, they'll push him for Bowen Yang stuff, but I just don't think he has the utility player mold to get up into the 80s like other people do. And can we please stop with the disrespect of Chloe Fineman 2 drafts in a row? If you don't remember last year, we had the same conversation of her slipping. Oh, there's no way she's going to have a great season. And then she slipped to me, by the way, where she outpaced both of Thomas's team and almost got me to the title. It is absurd that we're almost at the end of the first round. She hasn't gotten picked. And it is absurd that Bowen Yang goes before her.
Almost.
I said what I said.
All right. Well, Amanda, does that put the pressure on you to take Chloe Fineman here, or will you go with a different cast member for your first pick?
I had a different cast member, but now that I really feel like, oh my.
Well, you have to do.
Okay.
Don't let
Oh,
Haskell
Haskell
pressure you.
bullied. Do
Here-
not let Haskell
Wait,
bully
you weren't gonna pick Chloe either? That
Oh,
is so
no.
crazy.
All of you disrespect her. All disrespect. Let her slide.
You didn't pick her either. All right, so
you
let's
could
also
have
say
taken her
that.
first.
You didn't take her either. All of us are to blame. Okay.
I'll wait. Thank you.
You can go.
Anyway,
Ooh.
what I was saying was
It got real black real quick.
I went back and forth between how I was feeling, and I was waffling on this decision because I had literally made a graph and I actually put the whole thing in it, saw the arc, and I was with my picks, and I've been deleting it as I go along because I'm good. So so there was my options. I am gonna pick Chloe Fineman because I have taste. And even though I didn't want to, I actually really think that I also want to win. I don't know if 7th place is a risky role. I don't know. I don't understand how draft placements work. But you know what? I'm going to do what I want to do. And I'm going to get what I want to get. And I'm going to get Chloe. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Haskell, your thoughts?
I think, Amanda, you just solidified your spot in next year's draft. I think Chloe's that kind of pick where she's going to get enough numbers. You're not going to come in last. Now, listen, there's a rest of a draft to go. You're in a great spot on the turn to really put yourself in position, I think, to win this whole thing. But Chloe is going to be an 80 appearance player for SNL this year. And to get her at the end of the first round is huge.
Yes, and she is now the only Chloe on the show, so maybe an even bigger boost for her. So Chloe finished with 82 appearances last season. That was tied again for 4th overall with James Austin Johnson, who went 2nd. And this time you get Chloe at the 7th pick here. So is the value incredible? It has the potential to be. That was up from 78 the previous year. And then previous to that, 52, 46, and 47. So clearly stepped up majorly between 47 and 48 and continued to rise marginally in season 49. But I think what's fascinating here is Chloe Fineman is the type of cast member that nobody talks about, but she does consistently appear in sketches. She is not going to be, for the most part, unless it's on update, the A role in a sketch where she's going to pivot as she's going to carry at anything. But I think that there's enough there that she could be put in many sketches this season, enough so that this could win Amanda the draft. So I totally agree with what Haskell's saying. I think despite the pressure, Amanda, it was a very solid pick. TJ, did you want to jump in as well?
I was just going to say, you know what, Haskell makes a fair point in appreciation of Chloe. I enjoy Chloe's Instagram page a lot more sometimes too. That's why I feel like she's kind of, to me, I'm always seeing her. And also I think she just booked a role on Broadway too. So Haskell, I'll be honest with you, that's another hesitation I had with Chloe is I think everyone saw that Mulaney, Fineman, there's a big Broadway show that's going on for a few weeks, for 10 weeks. That might impact Chloe's appearance for the first bit of the show. So
It won't. I looked it up already. She's doing
She
it
already
over
looked.
the
She did.
holiday
Yeah.
weekend.
Okay.
We talked before the draft. We
I
looked it
already.
up.
Yeah.
Got
You
you,
also
okay.
mentioned. You also mentioned all of Bowen's other engagements as a positive, but for her it was a negative. That's interesting.
Because Bowen can tape his ahead of time, whereas hers directly could conflict with her working schedule.
Yeah, because people have never left
So
the
can
show to
she.
go film something else.
Okay, all right, relax.
And Amanda did the research. She did the research.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
she didn't.
Seriously, TJ? Okay.
I'm kind of mad I didn't. I should really
All right, let's
go
move
back
on.
and sketch this
Classic
graph.
TJ.
I should send John this
Classic.
graph. Honestly, this graph is so. I'm actually mad. I'm deleting
Please do.
it. I'm gonna try to
I love
recover
when-
it and get it back and send you it because it was just I don't do stuff like
Lo-
this. I'm a writer.
No, I love it when people do homework for the podcast. It makes it so much more exciting. So thanks, Amanda, for that. All right, Bill, you waited a long time for this. This is back-to-back picks coming up here. So why don't you finish off the first round of the draft with the 8th overall pick?
Yeah, I feel like I legally need to change my first name to Andrew picking in this spot because this is typically left for Haskell or Haynes. So I'm not really sure what to do here, but I cannot believe this person fell all the way to me, even though you all had wonderful picks. This guy was the comeback player of the year in 49. He is one of our podcast favorite people. Every time he appears in something, we really get a kick out of him. I'm going with the Dismukes here with the 8th pick.
So here we go. Dismukes goes to Bill to finish the first round of the draft. Dismukes was a second round pick last year that helped Thomas win the draft. So Thomas, how do you feel about losing your team member here to Bill?
I expected it. I'm kind of sad, but I called it last year. He jumped from 44 sketches in season 48 to 71 in season 49, like I felt he could. He moved out of the niche role and into more of like a glue man, and somebody who you can toss into any sketch, but he still maintained his Dismuke sensibility. So I can see him rising a lot again. So, he helped me win the title last year. Sad to see him go, but I expected it. He's out for like a bigger contract. He left my team to go explore things on his own. I wish Andrew Dismukes well. Good job, Bill.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we love everything he does here at the show. And I just, I'm so impressed to get to see how he finally put it together in season 49. So he went from, just listen to these numbers if you're listening at home, 47 appearances in season 46, his first season as a cast member. He jumps up to 56, so 9 more in season 47. He goes back to 44 in season 48, a career low, so down 12, never been that low, jumps up to 71 appearances in season 49. So he was in 27 more appearances last season than the season before. So as Bill said, comeback player of the year, somebody who clearly they realize they need to get more involved in the show. Does he become a star of the show? Does this continue to rise and he hits another career high this year? I think if he does, Bill has a great chance to win this draft. But Bill, you'll have to pair him with one other person. This will be your final pick and the first pick of the second round. So let's hear who it is.
This is a little tougher because we're into another tier here of people, and there's 2 people on my radar as far as can they jump up to the next level in season 50. And I've gone back and forth on them as I started to see who was going to be left coming to me. I'm going to go with Sarah Sherman here. I think that even though she did move up incrementally in season 49, I think we'll see even more of her in season 50. She's such a unique talent. We got to see some of her wacky side, some of her Sarah Squirm stuff, but we also got to see her in some of the regular roles too, in the wife's role and the sister role and things like that. So I think that we're going to see a phenomenal season from Sarah Sherman this year. So that's why I'm going with her with my 9th pick.
Yeah, this is good. I mean, Sarah had a career high last year of 64 appearances. That was up from 60 the previous year and 41 in her rookie year. You have to wonder, will the show use her more this year? I think they will. And there's a couple of things that I think are interesting for your team now, Bill, with Dismukes and Sarah, which is that we talked about this on the preview show, but we have Dan Bula and August White, who were then promoted to writing supervisors for this season. So they're more involved in the overall writing of the show. Dan Bula writes with Sarah Sherman. August White writes with Andrew Dismukes. So as a result of that, you're picking 2 cast members here who are more likely to be involved in the overall show. So I think you put together a very solid team here at the turn. Zoe, how are you feeling about Sarah Sherman going here first pick of the second round to Bill?
I'm jealous. Sarah is my weird queen. I think Bill's team is looking really fun. I don't know how it's going to play out, but when you think of people on SNL who are doing things that are different, it's Sarah and Andrew are pushing the boundaries a bit. So if we're wanting to move to a new generation and bring in a new audience, I think you have a really exciting team, and you're lucky to have Sarah on it.
Yeah, so the turn didn't look so bad here for Bill, but we shall see what happens. Sarah was a part of the losing team last year, so TJ had drafted Sarah, and Sarah gave him the worst team in the draft, so hopefully that doesn't happen for you, Bill. But Amanda, in the first round, you picked Chloe Fineman. Did the person you want land to you in the second round?
Yes. Thank you so much, because I was really worried that the words Marcelo Hernandez were going to come out of your mouth. I was terrified, and that's my pick. I think I just won. I think I don't know how I feel, but I feel like I just won.
Haskell, what are you trying to say?
The man has a
pretty good second place team. I know from experience.
Yes. So I feel good. I feel like I have a very hot, sexy team full of like young, vibrant, cool people. It's a party I want to be at. It's like a vibe I want to be around. So like I am on my team. Thank you so much. I am very excited. This is possibly the best day of my entire life.
Yeah, so we're not rewarding being hot and cool, but if you do appear in the show,
I'm here.
you will get a point. No, but I'm glad that makes sense for your team. But I'm just saying, you can't reward them. Yeah,
but
John,
the reward is being hot and sexy.
Yeah, pretty privilege.
So you're naturally going to
just let her have it.
I love
you.
That.
You got it. No problem. I mean, you're likely to. They're likely to put you on the show more if you have that. So,
and I'm also they're very talented, and Marcelo is like a really great, thriving, rising star, and doing very good on this show. And really, like went from like kind of, 40. It was 70. It was 60 appearances, 71 appearances, something. I forget what it was. I can't pay attention anymore. I lost these numbers that my brain hurts.
It went from 46 to 60.
60. Yes,
exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, 60 appearances last year. So Marcelo finished about 10th overall, but still, he's his first season as a repertory player. Everyone could see that he's the guy that they're pushing as this next generation. They sent him to the Olympics. He has that bilingual thing going on where they're really pushing him everywhere, and so big online on TikTok and all that stuff. Like it totally makes sense why he could be that next new cast member to take over a show. And I think when I talked about, there being 6 cast members that I think any given night could be their night, I think Marcelo is among them. So for him not to go in the first round is actually a little bit surprising to me. I thought he would go for sure earlier on. So I think this was an awesome pick. Amanda, Sammy, do you agree? Do you feel like Marcelo was the right pick here for Amanda?
I definitely think Marcelo was the right pick at this moment. I'm actually, I'm surprised. I had a feeling going to this draft that he would get picked up a little sooner, but I think this is actually the right place for him. I think just looking at what he's brought to the show, I think, like you said, they're definitely pushing him hard. I love the energy he brings, but for me personally, it hasn't fully sort of transcended or, kind of been fully utilized in the actual sketches. I think, he's had some things on Update that for me haven't worked so well personally, but I think he has the energy and the personality. So I'm excited to see how they sort of unlock that this season now that he's a repertory player. And yeah, we'll see how this goes for you, Amanda.
Can I?
Yeah, and go ahead, TJ. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I also just want to say Ariana Grande is going to be on the show in a few weeks, and if Ariana Grande being on the show has taught us anything, honestly, it's not looking good for Marcelo because Ariana Grande is not single right now, which means that his shot at star rising, because as we know, that girl is a star maker. So unfortunately, I think it's not looking good. If she was single, there might be a chance for Marcelo. I'm just saying. I'm just being silly. I just thought it was. I was like, she's hosting. Could she make another?
Wasn't he hanging out with Kaya Gerber? I believe he was hanging out with Kaya Gerber. So I think he's
who's
good.
Kaya Gerber?
Is that a person or a candy?
Are you talking about the baby formula stuff, like the brand? Is she like an heir to that?
Kaya Gerber plays Chevy Chase's girlfriend in the Saturday Night movie. So if you're interested in knowing,
okay.
Yeah, she also did appear on Saturday Night Live last season in a pre-tape, in case you missed that, any of you. And I believe she was dating Austin Butler, or at
Austin Butler.
Yeah, at least was.
She's
when,
also
when
she's Cindy Crawford's daughter. They are identical.
Oh, so she's a nepo baby. Ew.
Yeah, right. But she's, her dad owns a tequila company with George Clooney.
He doesn't own the Gerber baby. That's just such a slam dunk. I mean,
I like when good things happen to rich kids.
Okay, on that note, sorry. I want to say one more thing, which is Haskell alluded to it, which is that Amanda has Haskell's team from last season that came in second place. So with 140 points. So Amanda has taken over this team, guaranteed probably not to finish at the bottom unless something goes really wrong for Chloe and Marcelo this season. But will she take the whole thing? We shall see. TJ, in the first round of the draft, who did you go with again? You went with Bowen. You went Bowen Yang in the first round. So where are you going to go now? We don't have many options left on the board. The board is thinning. So who do you want to go?
I'm tempted because I think I am the first of the rest of the draft to potentially to be in the danger zone with whatever I pick here. And I kind of wish that graphic that you put up at the beginning of the show showing last year's picks was up, because damn, I wish I could like see that so I can help make some more strategic choices here. Because I think
I can do
really,
that for you. Why don't we do that for
yeah,
everybody
that
at home
actually
so they can enjoy this as well? So
no,
here we
that'd be
go.
great.
Here are the draft standings from last season. The TJ, maybe it'll help you make your pick.
Well,
I
I
did
mean,
send
I
these to
think
you by
this.
email, by the way.
Okay, well, you know what? I think you just helped make my decision for me, which is interesting, because I mean, obviously, my fellow, actually, I don't know, my fellow co-host, I don't know if you're also looking at the chart that John sent out ahead of time with this showing the figures for the cast members. You know, really, the pick here is between Longfellow and Devin, and I hope I'm not the only panelist here that feels a little heartbroken at Longfellow's decrease in appearances last season. I feel like, you know, he's had some good quality ones. I've really enjoyed him, but I'm very surprised at how his appearance went on decline last season. And I think with Devin, my hesitance with him is, am I the only one that feels like we still don't have an identity yet for Devin? And I feel like it's maybe that's something for him to still be placed. But I think he was one of the ones I was surprised was still advancing when Miley Kearney and Chloe Trost weren't, when I feel like those two seem to have a little bit more identity. You know, like obviously there's a win to having just an extra black person, but like Punky just left. And I feel like that's not as much utility as it would have been, say, like when Sashir Zameda was on the show. To have like, oh, it's good to just have an extra race around. So I'm gonna go with Devin, but I'll be honest, this is strictly a safety pick. I'm going off of, like, you know, it's just maybe handy to have an extra minority around. But I would, and I know he's a stand-up, and I like Devin Walker a lot. I guess I like his identity as a stand-up, but I guess I wish this season we maybe saw a little bit more about him in his sketch work and not just his stand-up work. So I feel like there's room for him to grow, and hopefully this can be his opportunity.
Okay, so Devin Walker at pick number 11 here. Also his first season as a repertory player. He's been very consistent. 53 appearances in season 48, 54 appearances in season 49. So does the big leap come this season? It will be fascinating to watch. You talked about him versus Michael Longfellow. So he did finish with several more appearances than Michael Longfellow in season 48. So I have to feel like this is a solid pick for where you got him in the draft. Amanda, does TJ's logic make sense here?
Yeah. I mean, it's TJ logic, so it's very long-winded. So I have to like take a second to like remember how we got here. But
all right, I'm not gonna lie, that hurt a little bit. But okay.
I would never say that you do not love words. I would never say that. You love words, but I would say that it makes sense just in terms of, like, we're not seeing a lot of either of them. So I think if between those two choices, I would, it's a safe choice. It's a correct choice. And I love a safe choice. Yeah.
Okay. So we have Thomas coming up next. So Thomas, you put yourself in 5th. So you also put yourself in this slot in the 2nd round. You're going to pick somebody to pair with Ego Wodem. And the people left on the board are our 3 rookies that we didn't talk about yet tonight. You also have Michael Longfellow and the team of Jost and Jay. So any of those options are available to you. Where will you go with the 12th overall pick?
Yes, I wanted to make it a little challenging on myself, make the draft a little interesting this year. We have Longfellow. TJ so eloquently talked about Michael Longfellow. My draft model and analytics doesn't quite see a jump for Longfellow like I had it for Dismukes last year. I ran the numbers last year, saw Dismukes jump. Don't quite see that in my draft model for Michael Longfellow. So I can pick him, one of the new people. Chloe Trost left. She had 47 appearances last year. I think maybe one of the new people can cover that. And with Ego, I see Ego having a little bit of a jump. So I'm going to take a swing here, and it could cost me the draft. But I'm actually going to pick Ashley Padilla to pair with Ego. I want to take a little chance, have a rooting interest in a rookie. Amanda took Marcelo Hernandez from me, so I want to represent and take Padilla and put her on my team. So Ashley Padilla, welcome to Team Sena.
I love the pronunciation. That was beautiful. Yeah, no, this is a really fun pick from you, Thomas, here with Ashley Padilla, our first rookie off the board. So Ashley Padilla is, I believe, the oldest rookie that we have this season. So, for her, I think she's closer to 30 than she is to 20. And as a result of that, I think coming in as older and more experienced naturally will feed you into the show more. She also has experience at the Groundlings and with other SNL related people who have worked at the Groundlings. I think she's going to come in with characters in a way that we haven't seen in a while because they've hired so many stand-ups. So to me, I think that this was the rookie to pick here with the highest upside potential of making a splash earlier on in the season. Maybe it's post-election, but either way, I think that she's going to have a very solid start to her SNL career. Sammy, any thoughts from you on Thomas's pick here with Ashley Padilla, pick number 12?
Yeah, listen, like a fool, I was like, oh yeah, maybe she'll fall to me as the second to last pick in the draft. Yeah, everything I'm sort of reading and the chatter online as far as rookies go, again, you could be great in your audition and then make it on SNL and don't make it to a second season. However, everything I've seen and read about her seems like this is a solid pickup. She has that Groundlings experience, and there's just been so many SNL greats who got their start in the Groundlings. And, over the last couple of years, we've been seeing more stand-ups, come into the show. So being able to see somebody with that sketch background, I'm she's not on my team, but I'm definitely rooting for her this season as well. So.
Okay, great job, Thomas. So you have your team with Ego and Ashley. Zoe, very excited to hear who you are going to pick next. You've got Keaton Thompson, the veteran. Will you pick a rookie to pair with the veteran, or will you go with Justin Shea or Michael Longfellow? It is up to you.
Okay, I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to pick Longfellow. I have a greater fear of the unknown than the safety that I already have, and it can't hurt to have a handsome man on my team, so I'm Michael Longfellow. And he's got great desk chemistry. Maybe they'll make room for him at Update, and maybe Punky leaving somehow made room for Michael Longfellow. I don't know. I'm excited though.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. I mean, Michael Longfellow has a huge, fan base and following. We love him over here. He's a great guy, and everybody wants to see him at the show. It would have been interesting to see if opportunities opened up for him had other cast members who played some of the roles that Longfellow could get had left the show. I don't know that happened, and that is why he fell to 13th in this draft here. Again, maybe one of the more disappointing seasons of the last season, where he had 54 appearances in 48, and he actually went down to 46 in season 49. But, we got a clean slate here. It's his first season as a repertory player. They decided to keep him on. I know everybody was very excited about that. So for me, I think this makes sense, Zoe. I'm excited to see what Michael Longfellow will do this season. Bill, how do you feel about Zoe's pick here?
Yeah, it seems like the smart choice at this point. We could see a Dismukes kind of trajectory with Longfellow here. It is always concerning to see somebody go down in sketch appearances, especially when they're really starting out and it's only their second season. And a lot of the Weekend Update roles that we thought would go to him went to Marcello. This could be our comeback player of the year for season 50. So I think this is a smart point.
Yeah, great pick, Zoe. And we're all rooting for Michael Longfellow. So hopefully he racks up some points for you. All right, 14th pick of the draft for me. So a few options left on the board. We got two rookies. We got the pair of Jost and Shea. I'm going to take a chance here on a rookie. And I think that the rookie that I am going to go with here is the one that has a lot of sketch experience and in a different way. I think the show is thinking about their future. It may be a slow start, but I think by the end of the season, we're going to see a good amount of Jane Wickline, who came in from the show Staple View on TikTok, a very similar show to SNL, so has that experience in this environment in a way. And I could see, when they brought in Marcello, who had a huge obviously he was a stand-up too, but he had a huge following on TikTok. And I think for somebody like Jane, she was the one who I saw, as soon as the new cast was announced, everyone was like, oh my God, Jane Wickline. I know Jane. And I think that that push for Jane, to me, is going to be what encourages the show to give her appearances. So I think that my best chance of winning this draft is to pair Mikey Day with Jane Wickline. So that will be my team over here. TJ, how are you feeling about that pick?
Sorry, I was hitting my unmute. I think you're making an interesting choice going with an unknown. I feel like, did we see Marcelo have a similar boost in his first season because we had that similar TikTok thought? So I'm just wondering, can we rely on, like, does Lauren and the other people will they care about TikTok? Like, it's interesting kind of having that following coming in that might help you get people to know who you are. But we all know that, like, being on a live stage in front of a live audience is much different than setting up your tripod and recording TikTok. So I don't know much about Staple View. Was this in the live audience? Does anyone know?
This was a TikTok live show that they did, and it was super popular. I mean, I don't know as much about it as maybe I don't know if any of you do, but I'm excited to see how it would translate to the show. I mean, it's an interesting dilemma here that, again, Sammy's going to have in a moment right after me. But, with Jost and Che, you have guys who are probably going to be around for 21 episodes this season. So you're getting like an automatic 42 appearances from the pairing. So the question for me is do I think that there is, and Jost and Che might be in more stuff, so we don't know, but is there at least a chance that Jane Wickline, with her sketch experience, is in more than 42 sketches this season? And I think, looking at the numbers, I think, Ashley, I maybe would put the odds on first, but then I think Jane is that second one for me. So, Sammy, we're going to send it over to you next for the second to last pick in this draft. The final pick will be decided then, will automatically be handed to Haskell. So we'll get his opinion on that afterwards as well. But you have a choice here between the pair of Jost and Che and Emil Joachim. So, Sammy, who will you pick?
Yeah, again, like I said earlier in the draft, this is my third year in a row where I'm in this position where, I'm able to pick up a solid, sort of veteran cast member who I'm, guaranteed is going to get some appearances. And then, the Sophie's choice of either picking Weekend Update or a featured player that we don't know anything about. My first year I picked Longfellow. My second year I picked Trost. So I'm 50-50 as far as cast members, continuing on in their SNL career. But in both experiences, for me, just as somebody who's a fan of the show, it is more fun to watch and participate and root for somebody and their potential to see like what they can kind of bring and have that extra level of investment in their ability to produce on the show versus just seeing Che and Jost every week put those numbers up on a consistent basis. So for me, I'm going with Emil Joachim here. I've only had the chance to see a couple of his stand-up videos on Instagram and on YouTube. I know he was on Fallon, but he's 26 years old. He's from the Midwest. So for me, also from the Midwest, got to represent. So yeah, I'm feeling good about picking Emil here as my second pick.
Yeah, this is, you had two choices, and this is the one that has the highest upside, in my opinion. But he also has the lowest downside compared to Jost and Che. Like, could he be the one this season, the rookie, that isn't given as many appearances? He comes from that stand-up background, so to convert him over to sketch, like maybe he'll get those update pieces. But, to see him make that jump, it's a big question mark right now, but clearly has the potential. And I know everyone's very excited to see what he can do on the show. Thomas, how do you feel like Sammy did with this second to last pick?
No, I agree with Sammy. I think it's more fun, first of all, to follow rookie. So I'm in that position now with Ashley Padilla. But I think the floor for a rookie in recent years, I don't have Molly's numbers in front of me from season 48, so I don't know how they did. But Marcelo had.
Yeah, let me just bring that up just for any of the listeners that are wondering. So Molly Carney actually had 36 appearances in season 48.
But that seemed like a really low, like kind of an outlier-ish. So Marcelo had 46, Devin had 53, Longfellow had 54. So I think there's a pretty decent chance that Emil will at least match Jost and Che or better, and it also be more fun. And I want to see how Emil does on Update too, being a stand-up. I know I had high hopes for Longfellow on Update that haven't, I don't know, mixed results, I guess, but stand-ups can always shine on Update, so I think there's an opportunity there. If I was Sammy, I would have taken Emil ahead of Jost and Che too.
All right. Well, Haskell, you had the last pick in the draft. You don't have a choice tonight. You are going to get 3 cast members by having Heidi, Jost, and Che. So are you happy with the cast members you ended up with here?
Very unfair. What they did to me tonight. They stole my team first, and then they don't even give me a second pick. I know the ballot was stuffed. No, but in all seriousness, wow. If Sammy, if you get kind of the interesting pick of getting to watch the rookie, I kind of end up with a pretty boring team at the end of the day. I get, the chalk of the 20-something appearances each from Che and Jost, and then I get Heidi, who's probably going to lead the cast in appearances. That's pretty. We just have to see where the chips may fall at the end of the season. I think the biggest worry I have is we all kind of think we know exactly how everything's going to play out on SNL. Like, we think oh, Jost and Che came back this season, so they're definitely staying through season 50. I wouldn't surprise you at all if randomly the Christmas episode rolls around and we're all finding out hey, I think Che's leaving with this episode. So, I mean, that would be absolute and utter disaster for me.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. As a group, I mean, this happened a couple of years ago where Haynes got completely grenaded as Cecily left the cast and had no chance of returning. And as a result, he's never been back on this draft podcast for the season. So, I have to wonder here that if that was to happen, Haskell, that one of the Weekend Update anchors leaves and a new cast member was to come in, do we want to give that cast member to Haskell? Should we decide that now? Is that fair for everybody?
But
Yes.
Will a cast member as in will one of the current cast come in to do update, or will there be a new?
So if Michael Longfellow gets update, that doesn't mean that he gets Michael Longfellow's appearances. That still stays with Zoe. But if a new cast member is hired starting in January and Jost or Che leave, then we would give that new cast member to Haskell for the rest of the season.
Yeah, of course, sure.
I actually think if somebody like Longfellow did get update, that should go to Haskell too. I think any update appearance should go to Haskell.
Yeah, that would be up to Zoe. I think Zoe, because Zoe decided that she wanted Longfellow, so she knew the risks involved. So Zoe, if you want to keep Longfellow for the season, then you would get him on update, and regardless, I think.
But should we decide if a cast member leaves randomly if Keaton pulls crazy and decides to leave after the special, I doubt it, but if Keaton decided to leave after the special, I'm not saying that specifically, but I'm saying should we also create some precedent or whatever the term is for if a cast member does leave mid-season?
I think if a cast member leaves mid-season, then sucks. But if one of the Weekend Update anchors leaves, I think Haskell will get the new cast member that comes in as a cast member, Michael Longfellow. And also it'll be easier for everybody at home to follow along. So Zoe can also keep Michael Longfellow for the season. So that's no problem. Hypothetically, we're all assuming that Michael Longfellow is going to get Weekend Update if one of the cast members leaves.
This is really interesting pick here.
So in conclusion, I'm drafting Please Don't Destroy.
Yes, essentially. All right, so we have all the draft teams here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go person by person, and I want you to tell the people at home why your team has a chance to win this draft. So Haskell, you have the floor now. Tell us why you have a good chance to take this whole thing home.
I'm going on the record that this is my least favorite part of all the drafts. It's just, I feel so awkward doing it. It's a draft. It's a numbers game. And that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a numbers game. We're going to count it up at the end. I think Heidi Gardner is going to be at the end of the season, have the most appearances. Once again, the powers that be have made sure I never get the middle of the draft or have a chance at these drafts. Last year, I shocked the world. It would have been a Cinderella story that was stolen from me. But that is what it is. I have the best. If we're just talking about the best player in the game, I do have the best player in the game. So let the chips fall where they may.
Okay, Sammy Kay, I'd love to hear your thoughts on your team that you put together here. So you took a little bit of a risk with James Austin Johnson, and you end up with Emil and JAJ. How are you feeling about your team?
What can I say? You're in the second spot in the draft order, and like I said, you're going to get a strong player, and you're gonna have a rookie. I wanted to mix it up this year, change up my strategy, and go with somebody who last year took a huge step up, going from 62 appearances to 82 appearances last season. that's like an over 30% increase. Even if it's half of that, going into this season, we're talking, 90 sketch appearances potentially for James Austin Johnson. I think that's certainly a possibility. He's going to get some airtime with the election, we think. And kind of hedging on the results here to where, if things go a certain way, then we're going to see a lot more of JJ this season. If not, then that's great too. We'll see him in more utility roles. And then Emil, again, I like to root for a rookie. And I think there's definitely opportunities for him at the update desk. I'm interested to see if he can bring some of his stand-up material to sketches as well.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. And I'm excited as well for my team. I think Mikey Day, very solid pick all around. And Jane has so much upside here. So I think that there's a chance that everything comes together. Could Mikey be that sketch leader at the end of the season? I think there's a real possibility of that. Like, I think Heidi and Mikey, you could say either one really. And as a result of that, if Jane does just enough here, I will win this draft. So I think there's a chance. Zoe, how are you feeling about your team that you put together with Kenan Thompson and Michael Longfellow?
I'm feeling pretty good. I have an SNL legend on my team, and I have the guy that everyone thinks would host update. So I think I'm okay. But yeah, I would like to see more from Michael. So I'm feeling okay, but I am a little nervous, to be honest.
All right, Thomas, you set yourself up in the position in the 5th round to draft where you did, and you ended up with Ego Wodem and who did you and Ashley Padilla? Yeah, that was it. Sorry. So Ego and Ashley. So how are you feeling about that team?
You know what? I wanted to give myself a challenge this year, so I kind of figured I might have a choice with a rookie. I'm certainly not the favorite this year. I think Amanda's the favorite, if I'm being honest. I wasn't the favorite last year either, and I made a Cinderella run. Everybody mocked me. Haskell was hurling insults at me when I picked Dismukes last year.
We still mock you.
And he rose from the ashes, and he and Ego led me to a championship. I'm putting more responsibility on Ego this year, but I think she can handle it. I think she and Ashley Padilla can make another Cinderella run and lead me to back-to-back. So I'm feeling okay. I'm not the favorite, but I'm feeling okay.
All right, TJ, are you the favorite with your team of Bowen and Devin?
My fellow Americans and people probably listening outside of America, like Canada, Brazil, or where else. So shout out to our international listeners. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. I'm just out here trying to survive. Okay. I am just trying to live. Apparently, a brother was dead last year. That's crazy. And I'm going to be honest, since I don't need the votes of the listeners, I'm not going to plead to you people. That's not what's going to happen. Because it's really what the numbers is really going to. I don't got no control of this, neither do our listeners. I'm just trying to survive. If I get 7th, dog, I'm happy. I'm going to Disneyland. Like, it's really, I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm not even trying to win. I'm just trying to live. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is survival mode in a video game. That's what this is. How far can I get? Can I get farther than the last person? Can I get 11th place in Mario Kart? That's all I'm trying to do. Not 12th, 11th. So I'm just, I'm not trying to.
Amanda's trying to win. So, Amanda, you ended up with Chloe Feynman and Marcelo Hernandez. Do you think you have it this year?
When I was put in 7th place, because I do not understand how drafts work, I was like, oh, okay. But then I realized, this comes right back around to moi. And I get basically, other than my favorite Bill over here, he gets to pick. And then I get to come back and do it all over again. So I loved that. I will always love this. This team, I think I did it. I think I did something here. Like, I can't really explain what I did, but I did something. And it is going to be amazing next year when I'm in charge of picking the draft team. And I have a running list of the ways that all of you have crossed me for the past year. And I take it out on that moment. 2025, it's my year. Let's go.
Who put you in your draft position, Amanda?
Yeah, Thomas is fine.
I talked you into Chloe. You would have lost out on Chloe. She would have went to Bill.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's
so
really true.
You may pick one of us to
Honestly.
dress up as one of the SNL characters. So we will.
Do we
we'll see.
decide the character here, or we let the listeners?
No,
decide?
the winner will decide the loser's character if they want to get back on the
I
draft.
do want user input, but
Yeah, I do
like
want
a
the listener input. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I do need you to understand. I'm going to go to the grave. I'm gonna go dust when I'm picking
Okay.
this. You're welcome. Get ready, guys.
Would
Why
Chud
did her
be too
eyes
much
just get
makeup?
darker? That was crazy.
Chud. Yeah, I don't know if anybody's dressing as Chud, but we will see. Bill, you picked last, but you should be pretty happy with the team you ended up with at the turn. So how are you feeling about Dismukes and Sarah?
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of people on this panel talk about how their team's not going to win. My team's going to win, man. Like, let's be serious here. I've got two of the most unique talents on SNL. I've got Dismukes, our comeback player of the year for season 49. And by the way, they don't always do it in political seasons, but if they do a vice president and they get a JD Vance, it's going to be Dismukes because he's got that creepy couch banging vibe that JD Vance has. So I'm putting it on the record right now. Yeah, I'm saying he can play that role. He's a
No, that's not
chameleon.
what you said. That's not
That
what
is not what you
said
said, dog.
Dismukes bang couches.
You said he bangs couches up. We want to work with that man.
Hughes is gonna
It's still a network.
sue you.
If you don't know the
Network.
JD Vance story, go look it up. Come on.
You
No,
didn't
we
mention-
we
know-
all know the JD
we
Vance
know
story.
that.
What
We all know
you
that.
said. You said that you believe that Andrew Dismukes has the banging couch vibe.
He has
Were they
the
sharing
creepy-
the same couch?
He has the creepy vibe to be able
He's-
to pull off
Look,
something
someone who
like
bangs
that.
his
is
He's
what it
never
is.
coming
Don't
on
be
the
twisting
SNL
my
network.
words now. No. I love you, Dismukes.
That blue
I
check mark
think
don't mean
you
nothing
can find a
anymore
way to play that crazy ass role. That was my point. Guys, twisting my words. I'm going to win this. Good night.
Okay. Well,
now. That was
Andrew,
crazy.
if you're listening, I don't think that you bang couches at home. So just putting that out there.
The
I did
Saturday
not
Night
say
Network
that.
does not
No, wait a
endorse
minute.
the
No,
views
no,
of
no.
Mr. Kenney. We would like to make
Part
that
of
very
being a
clear.
great comedic actor is being able to get into roles like
Banging
that.
couches.
Now, come on.
And
You better put up a
couches.
disclaimer so fast on this.
I
panel.
It's a
You're gonna be like,
compliment. He's saying he's so good at being a guy who seems like he might be into that. It's
Thank
a
you.
compliment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
about
Bill
the
bringing-
performance.
Bill bringing a whole other level to podcasting in his 5th season as a podcaster here at the SNN. And I'm so excited for our 5th season podcasting here at the SNN. We have so many fun things coming up here. This is it, people. This is the final preseason podcast, and then the real show begins. So Saturday night, we will be back here live right after the show to break down all of the sketches and see who is racking up those points. So come and join us. It'll be so much fun. I'll be back with a really fun panel. Bill will be back on with me. TJ will be on with me. We'll be talking about how many couches did Dismukes bang. It's going to be so much fun. So join us on Saturday night. Monday, we'll be back here with the round table. So you know that always is going to get crazy when we talk about the sketches and the best moments. And especially this season, I think the round tables are going to be so great because we're going to talk about the moments that really stood out within the 50-year history of the show. So you got to join us for that. Of course, Mike Murray will be back with By the Numbers on Wednesday nights to talk through all the stats from week number 1. So if you want to know about those appearances, that is the place to go and get them. And then on Thursdays, I will have a show exclusively for patrons called the SNL Sketch Breakdown, where we talk about one sketch from the week that we do some film analysis on, and that is exclusive for the patrons at patreon.com/the SNL Network. We're going to have so much more coming up here as well, including the continuation of our Everything You Need to Know series, season 13, coming out tomorrow night here on the channel. Interviews as well. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up here. So stick with it. Subscribe to the podcast, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, wherever you listen. And please follow us on social media at the SNL Network on all social platforms. Haskell, thanks so much for joining us as well. I know you're doing some fun stand-up, so tell the listeners where they can find it.
Yeah, October 25th through the 27th, I'll be opening for legendary New England comedian Bob Marley at the Rhode Island Comedy Connection. They just opened up some tickets. The show was sold out. They opened up a few tickets. So if you're in the New England area, please make sure you get down there. Nothing but love, guys. I appreciate it. I know people think there's a little rivalry between me and Thomas, but mainly it's just him being mean to me. It's nothing but love from my side. And thanks for having me again. I am so excited for this upcoming season.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Did you guys
Haskell,
see?
excited to have you on. Sammy, thanks for joining us as well. Anything you would like to plug?
John, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun. You guys can find me at that Sammy Kay on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And as always, here on the Saturday Night Network, very excited to break down this legendary season 50 all season long.
Definitely. Zoe, so great to get to talk to you. And I'm excited to have you again back on the podcast this season. Anything you would like to say to listeners as we say goodbye tonight?
Well, thanks for having me on. And as always, I love you, listeners.
Yes, for sure. Thomas, I know you love listeners as well. You got so many great podcasts that are out there right now that people are listening to. So tell everybody where they can find them.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, John, for having me back. 2 podcasts. Thank you very much. SNL Hall of Fame. So this week, Mike Murray is my guest. We're discussing Charles Barkley. Mike is great as always, so check that out. Pop Culture 5. We have a special one that was released today. So Jeremy Dove and I celebrating 50 episodes of Pop Culture 5, and it's coinciding with the premiere of SNL season 50. So Jon Schneider from the Saturday Night Network joined us to pick 6 essential SNL sketches. So the caveat is that for the 6 picks, we can only pick 1 sketch per decade. So that's kind of a fun wrinkle in what we usually do. We had other SNL fans contribute to the episode. So this is a really fun one. Subscribe to Pop Culture 5 wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate you. And TJ, thanks for joining us as well. Anything that you would like to plug?
Right now, if you would like, I did 150 episodes of a 15-ish minute podcast called A Rabbit Trail. That's RABID. I finished it back in the summer with my friends, and I am taking a very nice podcasting break. I am very much enjoying having no creative urges to just jump on something. I have a new project I'm working on, but I am taking my time before actioning it. I'm taking a Conan O'Brien let break. But I'm still here to do the SNL Network. So you can still reach out to me at King Compliment on Instagram.
As long as you're not having couch urges, I think we're good.
Yo, and don't you dare, John. You better watch it.
Amanda, one of the best journalists I know, and so happy to have you on the podcast whenever you come on. So anything you would like to plug?
Just go find me on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter at Loch Ness Manda. I get like really nice DMs from your listeners, and it's nice to hear from you guys. So
they're your listeners too.
Guys. They're all of our listeners, guys. They're shared listeners. But yes, I love being here. I'm very excited about season 50. This is going to be a fantastic time, and I cannot wait to be like Saturday Night Tipsy in the comments yelling at you guys during the episodes. So really love it.
Amanda will be on with us for week number 2 of the Hot Take Show. So
yes, and I'm not doing Ariana Grande, and I wish I had known before. It's okay.
All right, so well, maybe we'll make a switch, but we'll be happy to have Amanda on in a couple of weeks. So looking forward to having her then. Bill Kenney, thanks as always. So excited to talk to you in a couple of days. We're here. Season 50 is about to start. Anything you would like to plug?
This has been bananas, and as you said, John, like the epic 5th season of the Saturday Night Network as well. So we got to celebrate that. You can follow me at all the socials at BKLove73, and also I do a small Twitter, Instagram on this day in SNL history. It's SNL_OTD. I'm posting stuff almost every day on there, and you can see some of the history of the show as it happens on that day. Glad to be here and can't wait for Saturday.
John, are we doing anything for the 5th anniversary of the SNL Network?
Just celebrating the 50th season, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. But I was also gonna say for Bill,
yeah, man, it's 5 years.
We must.
All right, well, we'll talk. It's yeah. I mean,
or is it 4 years?
Yeah. Well, it's 4-year anniversary, but it's the 5th season. Yeah.
We could do like regular SNL did and all quit at the end.
We could do that.
I'm kidding.
So stay tuned to see what happens. Of course, if you missed our summer countdown series that Bill co-hosted with us as well, where we did our countdown of the 50 greatest hosts of all time, that is available in the archive. So you can go back and check that out. So much fun to be with all of you. Thank you all for joining us tonight on the show. We're not going anywhere, so you have to join us throughout the entirety of season 50. Thanks to Haskell, Sammy, Zoe, Thomas, TJ, Amanda, Bill, and everybody in the live chat for having fun with us on this Wednesday night. We will see you on Saturday night for the premiere of season 50. Thanks to LateNighter.com. We will see you next time, everybody. Have a good one.